Welcome to Chicago This Week. I'm Abby Buston. Thanks for watching. It's official. President Joe Biden is seeking re-election in 2024.
Freedom.
He released a campaign video saying the battle for the nation's soul isn't complete. But President Biden does face some challenges. He's 80 and some critics say too old. Former President Donald Trump is among the growing list of Republicans who have also announced they are running. Here in Chicago, several hundred men marched down Michigan Avenue last Saturday. It was peaceful and it had a purpose. The march was organized by members of several prominent black churches in the city. It was a response to the teen mayhem downtown a week earlier. Leaders want young people to know although they are supported, unlawful behavior is unacceptable. Demita Menezes takes a closer look at how local lawmakers are responding to the teen chaos the other week.
2 weeks after large crowds of Chicago teens gathered downtown causing mayhem and destruction, city leaders are divided on prevention strategies as warmer days lie ahead.
We must have the personnel to ensure that we are there, that we are present, and we must have the will to immediately extricate and arrest anybody seeking to try to incite the crowd to violence, period.
While Alderman Lopez is calling for CPD presence, parental accountability, and curfews, Alderman Vasquez believes there are deeper issues that need to be addressed.
The city has not done the best job of providing outlets. We've been doing it for the first term, right? Asking for more mental health clinics, for the opportunity for kids to have more gathering spaces, right? Opening up schools and making them community centers. But it has been challenging to get anything done under the Lightfoot administration.
Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson has said the teens should not be demonized, but should be funded and receive access to jobs. According to the 2023 Budget Overview Report, the Lightfoot administration invested $150 million in funding to youth services, including the One Summer Chicago Employment Program, which hired 20,000 Chicago teens last summer.
I know that many of my colleagues, and indeed the mayor-elect, love to call for more money, more programs, more this, that, and the other. But we have plenty. The problem is parents are not making sure that their children are participating. We just celebrated the 150th anniversary of the Chicago Public Library, talking about all of the great things that are in 77 communities, as well as 11 additional libraries throughout the city of Chicago, that I'm sure not one of those children that were out there past weekend take advantage of. We cannot force people to take advantage of programs. What we can force people to do is follow the law.
Even though city leaders are divided on what needs to be done, both sides agree that CPD needs to do more.
We know that there's a part that CPD has to play. And I think we've got to figure out what that relationship looks like so that police can do what I believe are their core functions: apprehension, investigation, and emergency response and appropriate. But we also need to make sure we have the other systems in place so that they can focus on those issues.
Thanks to Demita, Alderman Lopez went on to say that the state's attorney's office and the U.S. Attorney's Office should coordinate with the local police. He wants them to find the source of those videos, identify and charge the teens captured on camera. Now on to more local efforts by the CTA. They're adding a new vending machine to the Red Line. They're not selling candy or drinks, but a life-saving drug to help with the opioid crisis. Right, Hayes?
Right, Abby. The CTA has launched a program to increase access to resources after the city's overdose cases rise. Take a look.
The CTA is planning to install a Narcan vending machine at the 95th Red Line station. There will be 5 machines across the city, and it's paid by a CDC grant. According to the Cook County Medical's office, about 2,000 people died last year from opioid overdose. While experts are happy about the city's decision, they stress concerns over funding and meeting community needs.
I think investing in programs like ours would help curb some of the overdose rates, at least in Chicagoland. But we also need better investing in social services, housing, treatment programs, drug checking programs. We just need more money and more investment in all of those.
Some of the harm reduction tactics that we use, while in theory are amazing, and we see them decrease, opioid overdoses in other areas, we have to be very mindful and thoughtful about the way that we approach them in certain areas.
The city's health department also says the machine will include harm reduction tools and will have the project up and running by the summer. From downtown Chicago, I'm Hayes Owens, Chicago This Week.
Thanks, Hayes. While legal battles continue over the abortion pill, the Supreme Court decided that it will remain available for now. Kennedy Chase is live with more. Hi, Kennedy.
Hi, Abby. Yes, abortion access in this country has been a very popular debate over the past year. And although the Supreme Court has recently decided to continue to protect access of the Mifepristone abortion pill, women's reproductive rights are still up in the air.
Our President Joe Biden has been very clear that we will stand to protect the integrity of the healthcare system in America, and we will stand to protect those who have a right to be able to make decisions about their own body.
Abortion access, a trending topic within the United States this past year, but more recently, federal access to the abortion pill, Mifepristone.
Abortion access at its core is really about bodily autonomy, which is the right of all people to control their own bodies, lives, and futures.
The recent Supreme Court decision to protect access to the abortion pill Mifepristone was decided just last Friday. This decision guarantees individual access to safe and effective two medication regimen, Mifepristone and misoprostol, the most common abortion regimen in the United States. But the future of federal reproductive health care is still on the line because Roe v. Wade is still overturned.
I feel optimistic about the future of reproductive health in Illinois. I would say in the rest of the country, it's really up in the air right now, and that's pretty scary to witness.
The next step in litigation will continue on May 17th in front of a federal appeals court. In Chicago, Kennedy Chase, Chicago This Week.
Hi, I'm Ophelia Dane with the Business Report. You may have noticed vacancy signs at office spaces throughout the city. It's the aftermath of the pandemic. I spoke to experts who tell me when we might see things turn around. Global real estate market is in distress, and so is the Chicago Loop. It's simply because there are not enough people in the office.
We had 350,000 people a day coming to the Loop. We have a little over half that now.
The latest report shows that the leasing activity in the first quarter of 2023 is down at least 40% comparing to the pre-pandemic level.
The office market has seen the lowest demand over the last couple of years. They're reevaluating how much space do we really need.
A drop in assets value is expected, but the industry is finding solutions.
There's a lot of talk about converting commercial buildings into residential living, and so we're hopeful that that will replace some of the office that we're losing.
Office vacancies also harm the storefront economy.
We've lost some of our fast casual restaurants and some of our retail.
But more people are coming back to the Loop.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are much busier than they used to be.
Experts say it's going to take another year for the Loop to recover.
We're going to start to see things improving in the back half of the year.
In the middle of next year, I think we'll probably be back something close to what we were pre-pandemic.
Expert says now is the opportunity for clients to get a good deal. Workers at a popular Midtown gym went public to complain about working conditions. Soon after, they were all fired. Brenda Ordonez is live with that story. Hi, Brenda.
Thanks, Ophelia. While Midtown Athletic Club did not respond to my request for comment, those who did were ex-staffers who tell me they feel humiliated and useless after the luxury fitness club outsourced their positions in a move they believe was retaliatory.
Over 30 workers are out of a job after Midtown Athletic Club fired its entire housekeeping staff.
The first notice they gave us that they were outsourcing our positions effective May 1st was on March 23rd. The second notice, where they told us they were firing us effective immediately, was on April 13th.
In the email, Midtown Athletic Club stated that the abrupt dismissal was due to the club's plan to expedite its transition to a third-party housekeeping team. But ex-staffers believe that this dismissal was in retaliation for them speaking out about poor working conditions.
I have coworkers that would find needles, and we had nowhere to safely throw them away. We would find towels with blood, and they would tell us, just throw it away anywhere.
Workers tell me that these conditions persisted for years, which was why in September they chose to seek outside counsel with Arise Chicago, an organization that helps non-unionized workers organize.
When we were first talking to these workers, Sure, here and there they were raising the concept of a union. They liked the idea of being able to come together and bargain collectively with their employer, but their big focus was around democratizing their workplace.
With the Rise Chicago support, ex-staffers were putting more pressure on the gym to better their working conditions in the months leading up to their dismissal. But ex-staffers say nothing ever changed. Regardless, these workers say they are not done fighting for their jobs.
We love our job and we want to return to our job.
In Bucktown, I'm Brenda Ordonez, Chicago This Week.
Thanks, Brenda. Did you celebrate Earth Day? There were events across the city aimed at raising awareness for environmental issues. Mia Bearden joins me in the studio with the story. Hi, Mia.
Hi, Abby. That's right. From rallies to cleanup events, there are so many ways to help the environment. I met an artist who noticed that people aren't taking advantage of composting opportunities in her neighborhood. So she decided to use her talent to make a difference. President Joe Biden expresses that only acknowledging Earth Day is not enough.
A chance to reflect on the national wonders of our nation and our planet, but we have to do a great deal more than just reflect. We have to commit ourselves to action.
Artist Bree Hines has put her talents to action by proposing a unique art collaboration.
I noticed in our alley, it was kind of hard to distinguish the block bins composting bin versus the garbage bins and the recycling bins. And I thought, I don't think a lot of people know that this is an option. I've also talked to a lot of my friends and peers, and a lot of people don't even know that composting is something that's available in Chicago. But I did notice that they were blending in the alley and thought, oh my gosh, what if we just brighten these up and we're able to make them really pop out in the alley. I DM'd them and said, I'm a subscriber. I love what you guys do. Can I paint on your bins? And they were totally for it, totally open-minded. And I came up with 10 designs to paint on the side of the bins.
Hines tells what she hopes the community takes away from her art.
I hope that they just take a second look and see, some of the verbiage says, be kind to our earth and fight food waste. And so I hope they really take in those little slogans that we've come up with and think about either composting or think about, what are some ways that my day-to-day life I can be kind to my earth.
One of the most effective ways to improve the environment is to clean up trash and dispose of things correctly. Abby, you joined a group who took the cleanup effort to local parks.
Early mornings, cold temperatures, and even a bit of rain can't stop these volunteers from getting a bit dirty. This Earth Day, more than 2,000 volunteers cleaned up Chicago parks.
So for us, it's an everyday thing. So we want to encourage people to embrace green, to keep our parks beautiful, to spend time in these places. It belongs to our residents, and we're very proud to be a part of today.
But the acts of service continue beyond Earth Day.
Each individual park is relevant and owned by their own community. And so we do a lot of work trying to help community residents engage their parks.
Known as a city in a garden, Chicago is home to more than 600 parks, all in need of care throughout the year.
Our earth, Mother Nature, we only have one, and we got to take care of it. So it takes all of our people, everybody, the small ones, the old ones, everybody.
Whether it's picking up trash, raking leaves, or replacing mulch, every day can be Earth Day. From Humboldt Park, I'm Abby Buston, Chicago This Week.
We're sticking with the Earth Day theme in Julia O'Leary's Living Local segment, where an eco-friendly fashion show was about so much more than just clothes.
Starbucks has announced a new line of drink. This special Valentine's Day event, Fashion Bar, had a sustainable fashion show for Earth Day. This was the first event in their week-long showcase. This company loves to recycle clothing and fabrics, but their approach to sustainability goes a step further. Let me show you what I mean.
Earth Day is for appreciating our planet. One of the ways Fashion Bar chose to celebrate was with an eco-friendly, sustainable fashion show. Sustainable clothes reduce global waste in landfills and help combat fast fashion. But the word sustainability means something extra to Fashion Bar.
This particular show, the eco-friendly show, is aligned with the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, and we sort of align sustainability with fashion and fashion clothes being sustainable, and also with what the AIDS Healthcare Foundation does with those that are living with HIV and making sure that their life is also sustainable.
And one of the ways the AIDS Healthcare Foundation does this is through their thrift store called Out of the Closet. Along with providing clothing for everyone, it also has a full-scale pharmacy and medical clinic with free HIV, STI testing and treatment.
So by having that in our thrift store, we're able to really reduce the stigma that surrounds all of this. So as you know, there is a stigma attached to knowing one's status, people feel uncomfortable coming in and asking for those services. But if you come into our thrift store, you're automatically going to feel comfortable. Our team is uplifting and you can walk right in the clinic without really any worry.
For Chicago This Week in Streeterville, I'm Julia O'Leary.
Thanks for tuning into Chicago This Week Sports. I'm Ayanna Bronner. We start things off with international men's soccer. The Gold Cup schedule was just announced. Max Olson is live with the story. So Max, Team USA will be playing this summer here at Soldier Field, right?
Thanks, Ayanna. Yeah, the United States men's national team is scheduled to host the Jamaican men's national team here in Chicago at Soldier Field to kick off the Gold Cup.
The schedule for this summer's CONCACAF Gold Cup has been released, and the United States men's national team will be playing a game at Soldier Field against Jamaica.
I think it's a pretty big deal, right? Chicago has a pretty strong soccer community, so I think the more soccer that comes to Chicago, the better. Obviously, we've got like the Chicago Fire that's established and like a really big kind of grassroots movement through, you know, Chicago Fire Pitch and then all the different recreational leagues that are available. So like having a game of that magnitude for what is like a pretty big tournament coming to Chicago is like, I think, a pretty big deal.
I think it's a big step in the right direction. We had Copa America here back in 2016, which was super cool. I went to that, saw the U.S., and it was at Soldier Field, despite Soldier Field not being the best field to play at, in my opinion. It was awesome to see. I think it helped grow the game a lot. Every time we have a big tournament here, I think it helps.
The match between the United States men's national team and Jamaica will take place June 24th and will be the only tournament game hosted at Soldier Field.
Thanks, Max. Moving on to football now. A Barrington High School grad is looking like an early pick for the NFL draft. Even in high school, he was known for his toughness. John Riker is in the studio with his story. John, you talked to the coaches in Barrington. Tell us more.
Hi, Ayanna. Iowa defender Lucas Van Ness has rocketed up draft boards in recent months. I talked to his high school coaches about his special connection to his hometown.
They put Tracy in motion. O'Connell in trouble, and he goes down! Lucas Van Ness!
Standout defender Lucas Van Ness has caught the eye of NFL scouts. Van Ness is expected to go in the first round of this week's NFL draft. Before that, he was a star at Barrington High in the Chicago suburbs. His coaches attest to a player with uncommon talent and unrivaled work ethic.
I think sometimes we would have to take him out of games to say, you need to tone it down a little bit.
It's always something when you have the best player be your hardest worker. And the junior, senior jump that he made, that commitment that he made was unbelievable.
Van Ness rarely came off the field. He dominated on offense, defense, and special teams and excelled as a multi-sport athlete. Since then, he's continued to be a role model for Barrington's athletes.
We build a program, based on relationships, and when we tell the boys, they may not always get it, when they're here, but these relationships are going to extend well beyond their 4 years here. Being a part of something bigger and doing it for the people who he truly cares about and who he really loves and he knows support him unconditionally, that's what drives him.
Thanks, John. The Midwestern Intercollegiate Volleyball Association just named their Coach of the Year. Our Elena Sklar talked to the winning coach and to some of his players. Hi, Elena.
Thanks, Ayanna. The Loyola Chicago men's volleyball team may have ended their season a little earlier than they hoped, but they still had plenty to celebrate.
The Loyola Chicago men's volleyball team finished their season with a 21-7 overall record and a share of the MIVA regular season conference title for the first time since 2018.
These guys have wanted it from day one.
They're disciplined, they have a great team culture, and it really starts from within them.
From the top down, seniors, graduate students, all the way down to freshmen, everyone likes each other, and it's been clear on the court. You can see us having fun. You can see us enjoying our time playing volleyball.
Along with a share of the regular season title, the team racked up the league awards. Coach Hawks received Coach of the Year, and a league best 6 Ramblers were named to all league teams.
It says a lot about who we are as a program, so that's sweet. So I think, I just think it gives us a lot of confidence just knowing we have guys that can compete at the highest level. So I think it was awesome for us.
There's so many guys on this team who definitely deserve to be spoken of in the MIVA. So I was really excited to see that.
While the accolades are nice, the team is focused on winning it all next season.
It's great to be recognized for what we've done so far, but I think honestly, we'd all trade it for the big one.
It was a make or break weekend for high school girls soccer players. They had a chance to compete in front of college recruiters at the Body Armor Sports Series. I was there. Take a look. It's one of the largest high school sports series in the country, providing student athletes with the opportunity to showcase their talents.
This provides me the opportunity to play against some really tough competition across different areas that we may not get able to play in our normal season. And that tough competition really brings out the competition within me and my team, and allows us to show college coaches that are coming here what we can do and who we are and how hard we can play.
We've been in the tournament ever since year 1, so we really enjoy it and it offers a lot of opportunities. Appreciate Body Armor, obviously. The girls always get pumped because they get to play in what they feel is, such a national brand, and they feel like it just makes the tournament that much more special, and they get to go home with a case of Body Armor and a case of Body Armor water, and it's just exciting for them.
I think that it brings competitiveness, but I think that you also learn how to be a teammate in the game of life, and I think that's our biggest motto about this tournament, that you get to do this volunteer work together throughout the months, throughout the years, and then you come here to essentially play soccer, but it's so much more than soccer at the end of the day.
John is back now with a look at the NFL draft.
I'm joined today by Adam Baker to talk this week's NFL draft. Adam, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you having me.
Well, let's start on the offensive side of the ball. There's plenty of talent, both at the skill positions, the trenches, and of course, the top 4 quarterbacks. Which player do you think will have an immediate offensive impact?
Well, I'm looking at Bijan Robinson, and his tape speaks for itself, so I really want to focus on the running back position. It's been devalued recently, but I still believe they're worth early first-round picks. 5 running backs in the last 10 years have been taken in the top 10. All 5 of them have multiple playoff touchdowns, at least 1 playoff win, and 4 of the 5 have been first-team All-Pro. I think too much attention is paid to the shelf life of the position and not the immediate impact the stars can make out of college, and I have no doubt Robinson will be one of them.
Well, let's flip that to the defensive side of the ball. Plenty of talent there, too. Who are you looking at to make an immediate impact on that side of the ball?
I'm going with Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon. Now, athletically, both in the film and his measurables, he reminds me of Jalen Ramsey. And I think that level of physicality is going to help him as he adjusts to the NFL. And I think his feel for the position is going to grow a lot in the league. Everyone looks at the Big 12 as this bombs-away offense-first conference, but 6 teams in the FBS averaged over 500 yards a game. 4 of them are in the Pac-12, and he was still able to become one of the top corners in that conference. I think in a more balanced team, in a more balanced league, he'll really develop.
Terrific insight, Adam. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm back with a little entertainment news. The National Museum of Mexican Art just celebrated its 29th annual Sor Juana Festival. They honored a very accomplished Mexican-American journalist. Our Raylan Lee was at the celebration and joins us live. Hi, Raylan.
Hi, Abby. I got a chance to learn all about the Sor Juana Festival and its honoration for women. Thanks to one 17th century nun, and last Saturday's guest is no surprise to honoration.
We're showcasing the richness, the talent of women, Mexicanas from both sides of the border.
The Sor Juana Festival has been honoring women since it was founded in 1994 at the National Museum of Mexican Art, with the overall honoration of Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. Tonight's honoree, a Chicago native, shares her main focuses for tonight.
We have extraordinary power right now. We have incredible power, and our country is on the brink. And so for me, it's all about empowerment, making people feel like they have voice, agency, and that they can affect their society. That's why I do the work that I do.
Speaking at this sold-out event and interacting with the community she once lived gives Maria the sense that she's doing the right thing.
It's a sense of progress, of hope, of possibility, of people who dreamed something for this community and made it happen, of bringing life and culture and art visible to everyone, and to be recognized by my community right now in Chicago. I love that.
The festival will continue to celebrate and honor different women until May 4th.
We have to showcase women, and we have to make sure that there is equals met.
From Pilsen, I'm Raylan Lee, Chicago This Week.
It's a coffee shop by day and a stage for all types of creative people by night. This fascinating spot is in Uptown. Our Lena Folk is live with a closer look. Hey, Lena.
Hi, Abby. That's right. Emerald City Coffee takes a break from their lattes to host open mic night, and anyone can sign up. And it's right off the Red Line.
Located in Uptown, Emerald City is a coffee shop by day, but by night, it is a stage for variety performances. Every Wednesday, starting at 7, Emerald City hosts open mic nights, welcoming all forms of live performance.
I mean, we just kind of jump into it, you know. I mean, we try to spread the word just through the neighborhood.
Ranging from cover to original music to comedy.
People like intimate performance. Honestly, my favorite shows are intimate shows, and open mic nights kind of encapsulates that very well.
Emerald City baristas, who also perform, say that open mic nights not only offer an assortment of entertainment, but are also a space of rehearsals for up-and-coming artists.
If you're not in a band, it's kind of like tricky to, you know, it's like tricky to get the practice of playing in front of people.
There isn't like a lot of pressure on you to perform, so you can just work on your craft.
Connor Snow, one of the performers, agrees.
Stand-up comedians bomb a lot, and that's just like part of the process.
From Uptown Chicago, Lena Folk, Chicago This Week.
Thank you so much, Lena. Finally, we introduce you to the world's largest organization dedicated to ending the isolation of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Jessica Christopher was at this year's Friendship Walk and joins us live. Hey, Jessica.
Hi, Abby. More than $160,000 was raised at the Best Buddies Friendship Walk this weekend. Participants from across Illinois walk in support of inclusion for all people.
Best Buddies honor their achievements at this year's Friendship Walk at Soldier Field on Saturday.
We're so excited to be here at the Friendship Walk today because we actually get to celebrate with our school chapters, with so many of our partners, to celebrate friendship and inclusion in a way that isn't physically isolated.
Best Buddies is an international organization that really works with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to kind of break down some of the barriers that society has put into place. We have opened upwards of 30 programs this year in schools, which is I get very emotional about this, I'm so sorry. We've opened 30 chapters, which is monumental.
People with disabilities are so often overlooked because they're not seen as people who could be leaders. And Best Buddies, one of my favorite parts is just seeing the opportunity for people to blossom.
And one Best Buddy turned global ambassador hopes to help others blossom just the same.
I hope that my story and even other people's stories can help them find that joy and create those happily ever afters, because I think it's important for people to find that community, especially since people with disabilities are often left out.
In Chicago, I'm Jessica Christopher, Chicago This Week.
Thanks, Jessica, and thank you at home for watching. That's all the time that we have for tonight. Good night, everyone.